What's up, YouTube? I'm Adam Odell, Chief Investment Strategist of moneyandmarkets.com, and I'm joined by my research analyst, Matt Clark. And we're here for yet another episode of Ask Adam Anything. We field any of your questions. You can leave them here in the comments on YouTube, or you can email us. Matt will give you that email address. But basically, any type of question you want to ask me, I'll give you my best answer. We can analyze stocks or ETFs, or you can talk about ask me about my general trading and investing philosophy overall. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Adam. And I will say we actually are starting something a little different now, and that is if you submit a question or even a video of you asking a question, or maybe a video, maybe a testimonial, maybe you you followed Adam for a long time, or you follow the marijuana market update or investing with Charles, and you've done well, you can send a video like that. If you send a question or a video in and we use it, we're going to send you some money and market swag. So that's a good way to get yourself featured and get your question answered if you're interested. If we use it, then there you go. So the email address to send any questions you might have for any of us, whether it's me or Adam or Charles, you can email us at feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. We'll flash that right down below there, but it's feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. Now, last week, I was a little selfish and I took the question myself and asked Adam the question myself. This time, I'm actually gonna dip into the email pool. We have some great questions to go through. We're gonna pick one today. I'm gonna give Adam one because I think it's one that's gonna require a little bit of depth for him to answer. And this one comes from Ari, and Ari writes, Adam, I was wondering what your thoughts are on investing in technologies involved with clean energy or ETFs focused on clean energy like PBW. So, Adam, there you go. The question is investing in technologies, in clean energy technologies or clean energy related exchange traded funds?
Yeah, great question. So I'm absolutely a fan of the clean energy revolution. I think it's going to take longer to play out than most people expect. So I think that investors need to be patient and basically leg into the positions rather than trying to get in all at once. You will not be left behind. This is a multi-year, probably multi-decade trend that will mint a lot of fortunes, but at the same time require a lot of patience. So for example, in our Green Zone Fortunes portfolio service, we have a number of clean energy picks, but we also have some traditional oil and gas picks as well, because there was a disruption in that market over the past 18 months. And whereas there's a lot of enthusiasm over clean energy, a lot of folks think that means that oil and gas is going to go away overnight. And that's just not the case. So there's really a lot of value on both ends of that spectrum. If you want to think about it that way, clean and dirty. So we are certainly fans and believers in the clean energy mega trend. That said, I'm also a fan of ETFs. So I think ETFs are a great way to gain access to a diversified portfolio of positions within a certain theme. Thematic ETFs are certainly over the past 5 to 8 years have really caught on. So this PBW, the Invesco Wilder Hill Clean Energy Fund, is one of those. What I like about this fund is that it covers a number of the sectors. So it's not too concentrated in any one sector. And when I say sector, I'm talking about the 9 to 11, standard broadest industry sectors. So like consumer staples, consumer discretionary, materials, energy, industrials, technology, things of that nature. So it really covers the gamut. It's got some, obviously, a number of electric vehicle, EV manufacturers in there. That would be a consumer discretionary play. It has a number of battery companies, has a number of miners because basically lithium mining, there's a ton of lithium that's going to be demanded for build out of these batteries. So the lithium miners are in there as well. And so it's really a holistic play on the broad trend, not on any one. Like, for example, it's not an EV ETF. It's not just electric vehicles. So I really like that about the ETF. I will say, technically speaking, the ETF is in a rather significant drawdown. So shares of PBW peaked in, I believe it was February, maybe early March of this year, and has since gone through about a 48% maximum drawdown. Now it's down about 39%. So it's gained some of that back. I will say that it does look like the worst is over. We're starting to see the initial signs of a new uptrend, which would be higher lows and higher highs. So for instance, the low that was made at the end of July was higher than the low that was made in mid-May. So we're starting to get a little bit of traction there. We've also broken out the high in late June was also a bit higher than the high in April. So that's what you want to see. So the stock has been in a significant pullback. It lost about almost 50% of its value, the ETF rather. And now we're starting to see the early signs of a new uptrend that's higher highs, higher lows. So now is actually a good time to buy in, I believe. So buying the dip. What I would recommend is watching the $72 level on this ETF PBW. If that $72 level is breached to the downside, meaning if shares fall below $72 and don't hold at that level, then we would that would be considered a resumption of the downtrend or the pullback. That would most likely mean that there's more selling to come. And if you've initiated a position now, I would look to risk manage that position and perhaps cut losses at the $72 level on this ETF PBW. That said, I think that if you want to go one step further, in investing in an ETF, thematic ETF like this one is not your only option. With ETFs, and this is the good and the bad of diversification, is that you get the good and the bad of the best and the worst companies within that ETF. So another way that I would look at it is we offer the Green Zone rating system, which is available on the Money Markets website. If you go to the Invesco website, you can download all the holdings, the individual stock holdings within that ETF, and you can run those ticker symbols through our Green Zone ratings one by one, and you can see which ones rate the highest. Now, I will give a bit of a caveat to the rating system in the sense that it penalizes younger companies. So obviously the clean energy trend is something a little bit newer, and it has a lot of up and coming innovative companies that only have been operating or only been publicly traded companies for anywhere from 6 months to a few years. And that's going to basically penalize their scores because my rating system looks back 5 and 10 years on some metrics. So you have to use that with a bit of caution. But there are a number of well-rated stocks within this ETF. And further, if you want to take it one more step further, if you sign up for our flagship newsletter, Green Zone Fortunes, Charles, myself, and Matt deliver basically one high conviction play or portfolio addition to our portfolio every single month. Currently, we have 3 stocks that have already been recommended that are a part of this PBW Clean Energy ETF. So we've recommended the individual stocks, not the ETF. We also have another individual stock who it's basically a backdoor play into one of the battery makers in this ETF. So rather than investing in the battery maker, which is a lot more speculative right now, we've invested in a public company that has an investment in the battery company, but they also have their own business, very, very well-established business. Beyond that, over the next month, we're going to be adding, I believe, 3 to 4 new clean energy recommendations to our portfolios over the next month to 6 weeks. So certainly now is a great time to join Green Zone Fortunes and see what our research says about the clean energy megatrend, as well as the individual stocks within that. Overall, this ETF PBW gets the highest ratings on the size factor, meaning that it's generally smaller companies. And also its second highest rating is on growth. So obviously these companies are growing revenues and in some cases growing earnings much more quickly than the broad market. And that's exactly what you would expect of a megatrend like clean energy that's starting to gain momentum and gain traction and get underway. So that would be my take on PBW. Now is actually a better time to buy it than any time over the past year or so. I think the pullback is mostly done. I would watch the stops at $72 on PBW. But otherwise, I think now is a good time to start nibbling at this new trend and certainly check out the Green Zone rating systems on Money Market and Green Zone Fortunes.
Absolutely. And great insight. I think that's a great question. Thank you, Ari, for submitting that about clean energy technologies, clean energy ETFs. Adam, I thought you did a great job going through and describing kind of the pros and cons and how now is a good time to really look at clean energy, because it's kind of one of those things that we've seen it turn down. I think there was expectation with an infrastructure bill that this was going to take off rapidly. Obviously, with the pace of everything that happens in Washington, that is just not the case. But I agree with you, Adam. I think this is a trend that is certainly worth looking at, certainly worth investing in, and one that I think is going to be one of those trends that last years, not 6 months, not a year. I think it's going to be years, maybe even a decade, because I don't think we're done yet. And you have to think about this not just on a U.S. scale, but you have to think of clean energy on a global scale. And there's a lot of countries around the world that are being very proactive with clean energy technology, and companies that are based here in the U.S. or that are on U.S. exchanges are benefiting from that activity outside of the United States. So just all these things to factor in. But Ari, great question. Clean energy, we're definitely, Charles, Adam, and I are very strong on. I think it's a great sector, and really appreciate the question. So if you do have a question or anything like that, maybe you like to video yourself asking a question, we would love to feature that as well. Email us feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. And you can ask myself or Charles or Adam or any of us any question you would like related to the stocks, to the market, to whether it's cannabis, whether it's just general investing. Maybe you want to know about the light that is in Adam's corner that he uses as a lamp. We can certainly ask about that, or maybe why he has a random piece of coral on his desk. Also a question that is a viable one to ask, but do so. Email us. If we use your question in any of our videos, we will send you some Money and Market swag. So, a great motivation for you, if you will. But definitely appreciate all the questions that we've received so far. Everyone's been very active. We appreciate that. We love seeing reader feedback and comments and all that. You can also ask a question on our YouTube channel down here below. Feel free to do that as well. We'd love to catch your feedback there. Again, feedback moneymarkets.com. Check out our flagship website, moneyandmarkets.com, each and every day. Sign up for our free daily e-letter. In it, Adam, Charles, myself, our entire team, we all work very hard, very diligently to provide you all that great financial investing information each and every day, and you get it into your inbox for free. Adam, appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on. Look forward to doing it again soon.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.